Hello and welcome to another edition of Conspirator Brock's Pull List. This is my pull list for the week of August 8th, 2018. So, decent week this week. Fair amount of books, all that wonderful, wonderful jazz. Yeah, so let's get right into it. First up, we have Bloodshot Salvation number 12. Jeff Lemire's been doing a great job on Bloodshot Salvation. I've been enjoying his run. Bloodshot's been just a really good Valiant book overall. Yeah. Good stuff. Next up, we have Catwoman number 2 from Jolie Jones. I can't wait to dive into issue 2. Issue 1 was cool. Jolie Jones's art style is fantastic. I love her art. The Catwoman story that she established looks to be pretty interesting. Next up, we have A Death or Glory number 4. This is the new Rick Remender book. I've enjoyed it. It's pretty good. So, yeah, if you haven't checked it out, see if you can find early issues or hopefully second prints if they sold out. Next up, we have Detective Comics number 986. This continues the Karma story arc. I've been enjoying Batman or Detective since the creative team change. I know a lot of people have kind of jumped ship. It's still good. It's not as good as the stuff that was before, but it's still good. So, I'm still sticking with it. Next up, we have Flash number 52. Looks like Flash is teaming up with the Future Cold to figure some stuff out. Williamson's just done an amazing job on Flash, and so, yeah, it's good stuff. Next up, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 50. This is Last Chance story arc. It's a giant-sized anniversary issue. Vendetti's done a fantastic job with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. I can't wait to see how this ends up, especially with what's going on in this story, so we'll see. I know some news has dropped that Morrison's doing some Green Lantern stuff, so that's going to be changing up the Green Lantern universe going forward, but for now, I'm still enjoying what's coming out of the whole core stuff. Next up, another one by Vendetti, and that is Hawkman number 3. I love the first 2 issues of Hawkman, so I can't wait to dive into issue 3. They're really going with kind of the reincarnation and the archaeology stuff, and just really kind of coming off of Scott Snyder's metal, bringing Hawkman back into the DCU in a really, really good way. So, yeah, check it out. Next up is Immortal Men at number 5. This is out of the New Age of Heroes from DC. Again, these books are kind of it's probably canceled soon, so I'm just going to finish it up. But Immortal Men's okay. It's not something I would totally recommend to people, but I'm curious to see where they go with these characters. Next up is Oblivion Song number 6. I've already technically read this issue, so I'm just rereading it. So issue 7 is new stuff for me. Yes! Oblivion Song is really good. Robert Kirkman does an amazing job. The art is fantastic. If you have not yet checked it out, I would highly, highly recommend you check out Oblivion Song. Next up is Plastic Man number 3, and yes, that is an Alex Ross cover. Gail Simone's first 2 issues of Plastic Man were they were interesting. It's nice to see a story with Plastic Man in it, but I'm not sure where it's going. So hopefully issue 3 kind of irons stuff out and we get a little bit more, because it's only a 6-issue mini, so yeah. Next up we have Red Hood and the Outlaws number 25. Looks like Jason Todd is punching Batman in the face, and they're at each other's throats again. So we'll see. Red Hood and the Outlaws has been really good with Rebirth. I've really enjoyed it. It's a consistently good title month to month. So yep. Next one is the big one that I'm super excited for, and you should be too. But that is the Sandman Universe number 1. This is a one-shot to kind of introduce you to the Sandman universe as it is, I believe. This cover is done by Jay Lee. There's multiple covers. I'll get to those in a minute. But I am super stoked for the Sandman universe. I've read Sandman numerous times. I have most of the single issues. I have the absolutes. I've had 2 versions of the soft covers. I love Sandman. Sandman is one of those books that I was actually introduced to back in high school by Ryan Higgins, my buddy that owns Comics Conspiracy. And my first tattoo is actually from a Sandman story arc, Season of Mist. It's the Key to Hell So I really, really enjoy the mythos and the universe that Neil Gaiman established with the Sandman and the Dreaming and all of those. So I'm really curious to see where DC and Vertigo take the Sandman universe going forward. So I'm super, super excited for this book. Hopefully it's amazing, and if you're not sure and you're curious about Sandman, I would say pick it up. It's a one-shot to kind of introduce you, give you a taste of what is to come from the Vertigo titles that are coming out soon. So check it out. Next up, we have Scooby Apocalypse number 28. Just a consistently good book. Giffen does a great job on it. It's fantastic stuff. Scooby and the gang in a post-apocalyptic world of mutants and vampires and everything crazy. So it's just a really, really fun book. Next up, we have Suicide Squad number 45. This starts the Sink Atlantis story arc, which crosses over with Aquaman. So I'm really curious to see where this goes. It's nice to see Suicide Squad crossing over with Aquaman. So for those of you that read Suicide Squad but not Aquaman, be on the lookout or let your shop know that you want to get the Sink Atlantis books that are going along with this. If your shop's good, they'll know that you'll probably want it since it's a it's Suicide Squad and Aquaman, but you never know. So contact your local shop, tell them you need them to get you a copy of the Aquaman titles that are crossing over. Next up is a book that I actually haven't read in a long time. I did pick up the handful of the first story arc of this, but it didn't click at all with me. So I'm going to give it a shot now, mainly because Mark Andreyko is writing it. I probably butchered his name, Andreyko, who did a really great job on Manhunter. Really love that series. He did for DC years ago. It's collected in trade. I don't know if they're still in print, but Manhunter's really good. But he's taking over the reins on Supergirl. So this is Supergirl number 21, The Killers of Krypton, Part 1. So it's basically, Supergirl's been on hiatus basically about the same time that Superman and Action have been on hiatus. So I'm curious to see where this book falls within that, the Superman family of books. Mark Andreyko does a fantastic job in his writing, especially when he's writing of female characters that I like. So I'm really curious to see what he has to bring to the table for Supergirl. So hopefully it's good. If it's good, then I'm going to keep getting it. If not, I'm not going to get it anymore. Next up, we have Superman number 2. Continues Bendis's stint on Superman. Who knows how long that's going to last, but I enjoyed the first issue of Superman, so I'm going to keep going with it. And Bendis has done a fairly good job with his Man of Steel and Action and Superman stuff so far, so I'm all on board. Next up, we have Titans number 24. Abnett is kind of taking this new Titans team in a certain, in a direction of hunting people exposed to the dark matter from the that came from the dark multiverse, and kind of all that stuff. So I'm curious to see what this entails and what kind of antics this gets the team into. Titans, again, is not one of my favorite teams, but Rebirth has kept me reading, so at least that's something. And finally on my pull list is Wonder Woman number 52. The last issue was just really a great one-shot issue. And this issue, Steve Orlando is picking up again here on Wonder Woman. So I'm curious to see what his take is going to be. But this starts the Enemy on Both Sides, Part 1. So we'll see if Wonder Woman continues to be consistently good. Robinson did a fantastic job after Rucka. After the Rebirth stuff, so I'm curious to see how Orlando does with Wonder Woman. I did grab one title to read. I didn't actually purchase it, but that is the big book this week, and that is Fantastic Four number 1 by Dan Slott. And yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm going to check it out. The Fantastic Four are finally back, I guess, in the Marvel Universe. For those of you who want to know, the legacy numbering is 646. But we actually had a midnight sale for it at Comics Conspiracy last night, and we had a fair turnout for it. There's a bunch of covers. A lot of covers that people are going to be going after are those Art Germ covers. There's 6 Art Germ covers out this week. 4 for Fantastic Four, 1 coming up that I'll show you now, and 1 for Unnatural. So if you're an Art Germ fan, you better get down to your shop to grab these up. But I'm curious to see what Dan Slott. How Dan Slott brings the Fantastic Four back into the Marvel Universe. They've been gone for a while, and you know it's basically due to the tension between Fox and Disney. But now that Disney is buying Fox, that tension, at least on the movie side, is kind of alleviated. So now they're bringing Fantastic Four back. Hopefully it. Dan Slott can get into the characters and get into telling a really good Fantastic Four story. Otherwise, it's just another relaunch or renumbering, and the Fantastic Four are back, but without any real quality behind the work. I think a lot of people are just going to be meh. So we'll see. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it. I'll let you guys know what I think about it next week. So yeah. Tons of variants for me this week. So I think I had 18 titles. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16. So I had 18 books I picked up this week and 16 variant covers. I'm crazy. So first up is the Catwoman Art Germ #2 variant. Holy crap, this is awesome. And if you haven't seen the variant for issue 3, look it up online on Art Germ's Twitter feed. Holy crap, that thing is awesome. I already pre-ordered it. Next up, we have grabbed the variant for Death or Glory #4. I like that one there, so I snagged that one up. Detective Comics has a Sideways variant this week. But it's a cool one with the Batmobile and the blueprints in the back and stuff. So I thought that was... I'll forgive the Sideways thing because it's cool. Of course, Flash 52. I had to grab that variant right there. Hawkman 3 had an awesome variant, so I snagged that one up. Now, Sandman had about 8 variants total. So the first one was the regular cover, which is the Jay Lee cover. And then we have the Sam Keith variant cover for this is variant #2. Jim Lee does a variant cover for Sandman, and this one is awesome, so I snagged that one up there. The 4th variant is the David Mack variant, classic right there. I think it's Steve McNiven. I think that's his name. Well, McNiven is I don't remember his first name, but McNiven is the variant for #5. And of course, Russell, P. Craig Russell is the variant for #6. And I think it's Jill Thompson is the variant for #7, right there with the baby endless. And of course they did a blank variant cover as well, and I was a geek and snagged 2 of them because one of these came with the protective wax paper and I had to rip them all off, so I kept one with the wax paper on. That's how I roll. Normally, they're taken off before we get them, but for some odd reason, Diamond has not been taking them off of the publisher. I don't know who. So we've been getting them. So we take them off, and then just... I'm a geek, and I get the one that still has it on. There's a pretty cool variant with Harley in the center for Suicide Squad #45. And, of course, Adam Hughes had a pretty bitchin' cover for Superman #2. And of course, there was a variant for Wonder Woman #52. Now, this one is a little that threw me a little because I think that the original art that they've seen for this had like a postcard up here that says "Welcome to Mexico" or something about Mexico, and I'm like, why did they get rid of that postcard? I'm not sure. So yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's it for this week's pull list. The fair amount of stuff this week. I got a lot of variant covers, but I know I'm a sucker, but hey, that's what I like. So please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Please leave your comments down in the comment section below. If you've read Sandman, let me know what your favorite Sandman story arc is, or what moment in Sandman you really liked. For me, a lot of those moments in Sandman. I mean, the story that I loved the most was Season of Mists, where Lucifer gives the key to hell to Dream and basically says you get to pick the next ruler of hell. I just thought that was a really fantastic and well done story, and especially since it's the story arc that has the descriptions of the Endless in it, which are just really fantastic. Neil Gaiman is just a phenomenal writer. And yeah, but a couple others that come to mind when I think back on what I've read of Sandman and really enjoyed. The Sound of Her Wings, which is issue 8. Just a really fantastic story with Dream and Death. And it's just really, really well done. If you can't track down an issue of it, or you can buy it digitally at go to I think it's Comic Conspiracy / or retail or something. If you click on any of the links on my blog for the books, they'll take you to our Comixology page. You can look it up there. But Sandman issue 8, if you're not able to get your hands on a copy or afford to get a digital one, there are really well done videos of people that read it aloud on YouTube. I would highly recommend checking at least one of those out, but it's a really, really well done story. Sound of Her Wings is one of my top stories of all time, I think. The Ramadan issue 50, is fantastic. The Midsummer Night's Dream stuff was great. There's just a whole bunch of stuff in Sandman that's just absolutely amazing. And Sandman just brought comics into a literary standing they brought it to a literary level. And if you haven't read Sandman, I highly recommend you do. I'm due for another reread of Sandman, so this might push me to pop open my absolutes and read through those. So yeah. But let me know what you think of Sandman. If you have any great moments, or if you have any questions, leave a comment down in the comment section below. What else is there? There's so much other stuff to do. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle is @BrockSager. You can also listen to me on the Comics Conspiracy podcast. We just finished recording episode number 364, where we say goodbye to our co-host Bryce Larsen, who is moving to Portland next week. So he will be on, but not as regularly as he has been. So it's sad to see him go. He was the Marvel fanatic on the podcast, and tried to balance out the DC-ness of our podcast, and he did a miserable job. But Bryce will be missed, so check that out. So if you've never checked out the Comic Conspiracy, you might not want to check out that episode, but yeah, it's good stuff. There'll be a link in the description below for that. You can help me and my fellow conspirators out through Patreon at www.patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you help us with hosting fees, getting food sometimes before we podcast, and getting products. So thank you very much to all of our Patreon backers. We appreciate it. It is super. You don't understand what it means. It's such a help. Thank you. You can also help me out more directly by clicking any of the Amazon links below for products and buying through there. That gets me money on Amazon. Or if you want, you can check out my eBay store. The link is in the description below, where I'm normally purging out stuff and getting rid of stuff. I'm trying to sell enough stuff to get some extra money to pay for my sub credential. Yeah, because it's like $200, and that's with and that includes the fingerprinting. So yeah, so I'm trying to save up my money on PayPal. So if you want to help me out and you see something there you like, please buy it, and that'll help me get closer to getting my emergency credential, so I can start subbing, and then eventually, hopefully, go towards my teaching credential. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this week. I start back at my day job next week, so it shouldn't interfere with the videos, but it might delay some of my reading. I've been really good this summer about staying on track and on top of my reading every week, which, hey, gotta be proud of yourself for that. So yeah, was there anything else I needed to talk about? I don't think so. So you know what? Oh, yeah. Hearthstone's Boomsday project came out. I opened 203 packs on the first day. That's insane. I got a couple golden legendaries. I got a fair amount of the distribution. I think was good this time. For those of you that play Hearthstone, let me know how you did. But for those of you who don't care, I'm not really going to talk much more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.